Hello, it's Phil from Standing Stone. I'll admit, I'm a little fired up right now. Here are some stories from just the last 30 days. I came across an unmarried pastor who said he felt so isolated and unloved that he was attending midweek services in another town, another church. Another was forced by his board to resign over style disagreements. And 5 minutes before he preached his final sermon, the chairman told him that they were revoking his severance pay. An elder told one pastor that he's paid to be a religious figure with no authority. That same elder told him that the congregation doesn't want visitors anymore. It makes people feel uncomfortable. One pastor felt pressured to preach his own wife's funeral. Another, over the course of 11 days, was with 3 families whose sons had died of drug overdoses. He preached the funerals. The senseless death totally slammed the guy's heart. One pastor mentioned how much he liked the Gaither vocal band and was told they're just performers, exactly like you. Another had a son damaged by the church and was under suicide watch. That father had to reach outside the church for prayer. One pastor's growing daughter fell into a lesbian relationship with an elder's growing daughter. At the congregational meeting, he was confronted by so much irrational hatred, he said it looked demonic to him. In the same month, I saw another resignation. I saw a colossal moral failure. And I'll stop. But our shepherds carry absurd burdens. I'll try to make some sense of it with 3 points. It's always 3 points, you know. Number 1, each of these leaders needed a sounding board, a vent, a reality check. How many free, confidential, safe places can these folks turn to? I've got awful stories about leaders who shared their troubles with a spouse or an elder or a denominational supervisor. Oofda! These shepherds need shepherding. And that's what we do at Standing Stone. We take seasoned and scarred pastors, like me, who are willing to stand in the gap of compassion. Number 2, ultimately, a church's elders and deacons can either be real champions in this regard or complete chumps. I hate to be that blunt, but I can't stand it. The care of our pastors or their destruction is largely in the hands of a nominated deacon elder. Elders need training to eld. Spiritual pillars don't just happen, they're built. Third and finally, how much hopelessness can a visionary bear? What happens to a good shepherd who is subjected to endless criticism and no-win scenarios? I'll tell you, except for the intervention of God, these problems will either take the form of explosions or of escapism that's self-destructive. Hey, sometimes it's both. No need to wonder where scandals come from. We do it to ourselves, and then we act surprised when our leaders blow up. When they blow up their family, blow up the church. We're actually the ones who toxify the gospel for generations to come. God help us. The solution is less about holding each other accountable and much more about simply holding each other like Christians do. That's why Standing Stone is behind the scenes, to derail scandals before they happen. Do you remember Jesus' high priestly prayer in John 17? He prayed that we would be one, to prove to the world that God sent Jesus and that he loves us. We need to claw our way back to that simple truth. There's no upside in striking our shepherds. There's no good in scattering our sheep. But it is a pretty accurate description of a scandal, isn't it? For every one of you that's on our support team, thank you. I wish you could know the broken hearts that you're binding up and the churches that you're helping stay on mission. Lastly, if you are the leader being struck, please let me know. We want to see you keep the praises going, but please don't go it alone.